Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fusion Stretch. Time to put away your computers, turn off the TV for a little while, and just take some time for yourself. I don't know about you, but I've been trying a whole bunch of new workouts this week, following people online, doing live workouts. I'm feeling a little bit stiff in parts of my body that I'm not used to working out. So this is all about relaxing, coming into a nice easy stretch, just getting some mobility back into our bodies so that we feel good and we can get on with our rest of our evening and our rest of our day, depending on where you are. Because I'm seeing some people from Asia coming on. So you guys are at the beginning of your day as we're coming to the end of the day. So great to have you on. So we'll wait for people to load on for the stretch. And we're going to go for about a half an hour. So we'll do a 30-minute stretch. It's going to be a combination of active and dynamic and static and restorative stretching. So we're going to kind of flow between different modalities of stretching. So some things to have. You want to have a mat of some sort. If you have a yoga mat or any kind of mat available for you. A chair, which is great because we're going to start standing and there's some balance involved. And I'd rather not work balance today, but really work on range of motion. So if you've got a countertop or a chair, you can use to then help you to just balance as we work through that. Two other things you might want to have: a yoga block, right? So it helps with some of our seated poses especially. And a towel, little towels. If you have two little towels, run and go get some little towels to use because it'll just give you some extra cushioning and a little bit of glide so that we can get into some of the stretches that we're going to be doing today. So they're kind of helpful, the little towels. And then if you've got a yoga belt, and if you don't have a yoga belt, your bathrobe, right? Or not your bathrobe. I always say that. It's not your bathrobe. It's just the belt of your bathrobe. If you use your whole bathrobe, that's a lot of material to deal with. Anyway, so these are kind of helpful tools that we'll use throughout. And if you don't have any of this, doesn't matter. We'll just stretch and stretch to your comfortable places as we go through this. So there's lots of different ways to stretch, lots of different methodologies of stretching, and my philosophy is this, is that I think there's benefit in all of them. There's benefits in holding a stretch for a long period of time, helps us to calm down, relax. It stimulates what we call the parasympathetic nervous system to calm the system, to slow your heart rate, slow your breathing rate. So we're going to do some of that because we all need a little bit more of that. And then active stretching or dynamic stretching, which really gets some mobility into the joints as well as the tissues around the joint, because it heats up the joints and it heats up the connective tissue and the fascial system and the muscular tissue. So that's going to give us a bit more. It is 7 o'clock and we're going to get started. So good to see you all here. Enjoy the stretch. So let's just come to a standing position. Find a comfortable standing position. We're just going to warm up the body a little bit. Take a deep breath. Inhale, find your breath. And then exhale. So deep breath, full breath in. I want you to begin this entire series with what I think of as a stretch for your diaphragm. So with breath, we stretch out the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a large, large muscle. So as we breathe deeply, we stretch it out. So get that deep breath. And then exhale. And just roll the shoulders nice and easy in the joints. Especially if you've been sitting at your computer for a while, is rolling it back and opening up the front of the body as you roll back. Good, one more time. Good, and then take that into the arms and swing them up and swing them back. As if you're going to just throw them back. You lift, you throw them back. Good, and then add the legs. So you lift and throw back. So there's that lifting and throwing back. Two more. One more. Good, and then come up. Let's do an easy side bend to one side. And then inhale up to the other side. So just again, just warming the body. We're going to hold a little longer in the stretches later on. But right now, we're just trying to get all the kinks out. Breathe through it. One more time each way. Good. And then come center and release. Good. Now, take the toes a little wider. Soften through the knees. And bring your hands to your thighs. And just coming into like a half squat. Tuck the tailbone, curve your spine. So you tuck and you round into the back. And then you lengthen and extend. So the tailbone moves down. Tailbone moves down, curve up, tuck the chin, and then lengthen and extend. And just find a nice rhythm with your breath. You exhale to curve, you inhale to lengthen. Exhale, curving, inhale, lengthening, exhale, curving, inhale, lengthening. And this time roll all the way up. Take a nice deep breath, inhale, raise up. Exhale and open up. Now this may be where you want to find a chair or a countertop. You're going to bring one knee up and swing it back. So just lifting and swinging back. As you swing that leg back, try and keep your torso vertical so we're not taking it into our low back. We really want to get the hip warm. Right, so let's warm up through the hip. We have 2 more. And then bring it to a knee up. And you're going to draw a nice big circle with that hip. Very intentional, around behind you and then in front. So lifting it up and around and coming around in front. Right, getting some of the tissues of that hip, the gluteal muscles, the deep hip rotators, and then reverse the direction as if you're stepping up and over a big hurdle. Up and over, so drawing it up and over, right? Intentionally lifting and feeling that circle one more time. And then stay on the same leg, just cross over your body and swing out. Over the body and swing out. So the hip's got a great deal of range of motion. So come in and now internally rotate the hip and turn it out externally. In and out. In. Now you can see why I say balance on something so we're not overworking, because you really will start to feel that other gluteal work. 2 more. 1 more. And rest. Okay, opposite leg. Knee just comes in and swing. We just swing it through. Nice and easy. Right, go to a tempo that feels good for you. We're just looking for movement at this point in time. Just breathing through it. Good, then bring the knee up in front and then an intentional hip circle. Make it as big as you can back. Draw around and around. Good, keep it going. Remember to connect your breathing with your stretching. Reverse the direction. The reason why is when we hold our breath, the body holds tension. So as much as possible, try and keep your breath even. Have the breath flowing through your body. Right, good, and come in and then swing it out at a diagonal. So just out at a diagonal, moving through the hip, out and in. And then come down underneath you, internally rotate, externally rotate. So rotating from the hip, you're going to turn the toe in, turn the toe out, keep it going. Good to see so many of you here. Hey Lewis, welcome. All right, keep it going. Turning it in, turning it out. So good to see you, even though I can't really see you, but I see you in my mind. I feel like you're right in my living room. Good, and then come back in. Take your feet nice and wide now. Turn the toes out. Good, with the toes turned out, bend the knees, and then just gently start to lunge. So dynamically working side to side. So getting the legs moving first. Look to the knees, and the knees should be in the direction of the toes. So as much turnout that you can get in the legs comfortably, keeping that alignment. Now start to hinge your chest forward so the sitting bones lift up behind you and the crown of the head reaches forward. So we create what we'll be calling a flat back. So we're coming deeper into the hips, but we're sitting back. Good, and then come to the center, fingertips to the floor, and this may be where you want to have a block if you've got a lot of tension. Fingertips down or palms down, get a little lower. We're just going to try and get a little bit lower into the hips. Good, and see if you can melt down even more. And now, coming over to your left side, press down, take your right hand across, and then rotate into a lunge. And as you rotate to that lunge, open up the back hip, but the back knee is lifted. Now from here, just gently saw forward and back. So gentle rock forward, gentle rock back. And I'm going to change the angle so you can see what's going to happen as we go deeper into this stretch. So right now, the front foot is in front of your hip. And we're just rocking. So from here, take the hand on the inside, walk your foot wider. So now your hands can come shoulder width apart. And that foot slightly turns out. This allows you to go a little deeper into the position, into that lunge. And you may feel the sense of how it changes from the back hip and then all the way through the back of the front leg. In this position, soften the back knee down. So we bring it down. Inhale. As you exhale, just rock to the right and to the left. Now there's no precise way to do this. It's just a feeling of moving the weight from one hip to the other hip as you rock through it. So we're just trying to create some hydration in the tissues of the body. So just getting some movement into the tissues before we go into a long hold. So here's our first long hold. Inhale here. As you exhale, palms down or forearms come down. And as you lower into this, if you do have a yoga block, you can bring that yoga block underneath the forearms so that you're a little bit elevated off the floor. So as you hold here, just gently tuck the chin in, allow the top of the head to rest downwards so we're not holding our head up. Your head is about 10 pounds. So if we try and hold it up, we have to work all the muscles along the back of the neck, which are then going to contract the muscles all the way down the spine. We're going to try and relax all the way through the spine. So as much as you can, with each exhalation, let go of tension. So that exhalation is your opportunity to release. Almost repeat in your head, exhale, release. The longer you can make the exhalation, the more release time you'll have as you hold. Now as we're holding this, if you start to feel like, you know what, I just need to come out of it, it's too deep, it's too much, I need to take a break, you take that break. But see if we can stay here for 2 more deep breaths. Slowly walk your hands back up so you come back into that high lunge and into the arms extended. The back knee is still down. Plant your right hand into the floor, left hand to your thigh, and then revolve your ribs so that you start to let the hip come down. Now you can wrap this arm around your back, reaching the fingertips to the opposite hip. So the arm wraps around and we look over the shoulder. We're going to hold it here. So holding it here, breathing. Again, you can use the block underneath your hand just to elevate the floor just that little bit. Just take 2 more deep breaths here. Inhaling fully, exhaling. Then take the hand that's wrapped around, bring it in front, and we're going to rock now dynamically between the 2 sides. So take this hand, reach it out as far as you can on the floor. So you reach forward, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Good, and then reach back and open the shoulder and the chest. So you reach and lengthen. So we do a half circle, opening up the shoulder and getting into T-spine mobility or thoracic mobility. So getting the thoracic spine to move as we move with the arm. One more time. Reach it back and come forward. Hand underneath your shoulders. Pull back and start to straighten the front leg. So the front leg may or may not straighten. We want to pull the toes upwards and then lunge forward again. So we're pulling up and back, lunging forward and opening. Now you go at a tempo that feels right for you. Think of synchronizing your breath with the movement. Inhaling to extend forward, exhaling to rock back. Inhaling and exhaling. Come forward, take some weight into your hands. You can curl that back toe under, lift your knee. And then start to walk yourself back to the front. And when you're ready, lunge side to side. How did that feel? We're going to go to the other side. So let's come over to the other side, deepen down, rotate around, come into the lunge so that your back knee is lifted, the hips are moving forward, and feel as though there's lengthening coming from the heel to the top of the head. So we create length through the whole torso, breathing into it. Just saw forward and back, so that gentle sawing between the front foot and the back foot. And then come to center. Soften the knee down. Walk your hand on the inside of the foot. Open that leg out wider. And as that leg goes out wider, hands are shoulder width apart. The toe is slightly turned out, and we rock. So I hope you've all been taking care of yourself and you're taking the time to keep up with your fitness program, but also to do some restorative work, because right now when your body is under stress or your mind is under stress, we need to balance that out by doing some restorative work for our bodies. Come to a place where you can hold and then start to walk the forearms down. Again, use the block. You can even stack 2 blocks on top of each other if you've got 2 blocks. And say, I just got to come a little higher. That lunge is a little bit too deep for me. So you can come into this position, slightly tuck your chin. And now allow yourself to think of something else. Right? So you're going to be here for a while. We're going to release and hold. So let your mind just relax. Take a moment to just focus in on your breath. So your inhalation, your exhalation. I desperately want to see all of you. Breathe through it. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly walk onto your hands. Yeah, so from this position now, take the back hip, roll it in, rotate your spine, wrap the arm around your back so that the fingertips come to the opposite hip. So you're coming to the front of the opposite hip as you come into this stretch. So wrapping the arm around, opening up through the chest and shoulder, breathing. And then slowly release, bringing your hand forward. Now you're going to reach that hand way out front. So you lengthen and you arc the arm over as you're going to reach towards that back foot. And then you come all the way back. So we create openness and then all the way to the front. So working through the ribs and the shoulder, creating that mobility. Good, and then bring the hand in and find that deep lunge again. Good, curl your toes under, and then rock back, and rock forward. And rock it back, and rock it forward. So again, just at your own time, lengthening, sitting back, and back. One more. And then pick up the knee, walk yourself around, and just start to lunge again side to side. So from this position, bring your feet parallel to each other. So the feet are now going to parallel or slightly turned in with your toes. This is where your block can come in handy. Take your hands onto the block to straighten the legs. If you haven't got a block, keep your knees bent. If your fingertips can touch the floor, then touch the floor or fold into it. Now take a moment, bend your knees and look up just for a moment to see what's happening here at the hips. We're going to move from one hip to the other, keeping the legs straight. So the leg stays straight and we're trying to move the pelvis from one side to the other. Again, just feeling that sensation of massaging the femur bone inside of the hip joint. And then come to the center, inhale. As you exhale, fold down to where you can. Let the tension go. And then come halfway up. Take your right fingertips to the floor, or again, use the block. And then reach your left arm up and gaze upwards. And as you hold it here, just observe where the points of tension are in your body. Where is the tension being expressed? And if you eased off a little bit, could you adjust your body to find a better place for you to rotate? One more breath here. Exhale, bring it down. Switch sides, open up to the opposite side. So again, your hand can be to the floor if you've got that flexibility to rotate from here. And then just notice if one side moves more easily than the other. We often have asymmetries in our body where our body is tenser on one side of our body than the other. And just by observing that, I recommend that you spend a little bit more time on the side of your body that is tighter. So today I'm trying to balance out the sides, but if there's a side that needs more attention, you want to give that side just a little bit more attention, maybe more often, longer holds. Take one more deep breath here in, and as you exhale, come down. Then bend your knees, place your knees onto the floor. Right, and from this position, walk the knees wide, inside edges of the feet together. We're going to take our right hand to the central line of your body. We're going to repeat the twist, but in a kneeling position. So inhale, open, but now dynamically come through. Back of the hand goes down, behind your wrist, shoulder comes down, head comes down, and then the arm raises upwards. So bring the hand down. You're going to rotate, you're going to inhale, open. Exhale, stay. Inhale again. Exhale, go through. Shoulder comes down, head comes down. Inhale, open. Exhale, stay. Inhale. Exhale, hand comes down. Do it one more time in your own rhythm. Just find a rhythm or a flow for you. And then come to center once you finish that last repetition, and take a deep breath to center your body. Inhale. Exhale. Left hand comes to center line, right arm reaches. Find that openness, and then come through, palm up, shoulder down, head comes down, reach up. And bringing the hand down. Push yourself back up. Inhale, open. Exhale, stay. Inhale, stay. As you exhale, thread back through. Shoulder coming down on your inhalation, lift up. And bringing that hand down one more time. Rotate and open. Exhale and thread through. Shoulder coming down, head coming down, reach upwards. And then hand comes down, push yourself up and walk yourself in. Roll up through your spine. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, and as you interlace your fingers, lift upwards and open up through the front of the shoulders. Now remember I asked you to get 2 towels. If you have 2 towels, that would be great. If you don't, you can still do this. It's just going to take a little bit more effort on your part. So, placing the towels underneath your knees. So, that child's pose that we were just in, we're going to go there again, except for we're going to let the legs go wide. And you're going to walk the forearms down so that we come into what's called a frog stretch. So the knees are directly out from your hips. Let me just show you from the opposite side, so a different angle. So the knee goes directly out from the hip, and the feet can be flexed or pointed as we lower ourselves down. So you want to take the weight into your forearms to control how deep that stretch goes. And then take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let yourself settle into it. Sometimes at first, the body responds by contracting because it's not sure what you're doing, especially if you've never done this stretch before. So take this opportunity to calm your breathing and just relax. It's really about relaxing at this point in time. So letting yourself just sink into this hip opening. And then slowly walk back up onto your hands, draw your legs in, and come to a seated position. Right, in a seated position, take your feet wider than your hips. Internally rotate the hip down towards the floor and then switch. So you're intentionally rolling the leg in, the opposite direction of what we just did. So we're rolling it in, trying to bring the inside of the knee towards the floor. One more each way. Good. And come to center. All right, so now that the hips are nice and open, we're going to continue with that, and we're going to go into our straddle forward bend. So you can take a block and sit on the block. You sit on the block, it will just elevate your pelvis up so that the femur bone can drop down. That just gives you a little bit more space in the joint. So sometimes just sitting up on a block or a roll of towel can be beneficial. Otherwise, just come into your straddle, toes pointing up, knees caps towards the ceiling. Now there's going to be some tension in the inner thigh, but you don't have so much tension that you feel the pulling in the knee. If you're feeling the pulling in the knee, close the legs up a little bit, right? And then you're just going to walk from one hip to the other, as if you're trying to lift your sitting bones up. Now some of you are saying, it's like, you know what, I'm leaning way back here. I can't get over top of my legs. I'm just gonna back here. That's okay. Use your arms. Give yourself a lift with the arms to help you rock side to side. So all we're trying to do is get the femur bone to drop down in the pelvis. So as we rock from one side to the other, you're going to sense your sitting bone and then the back of the hamstring. The other thing we're doing is we're confusing the nervous system. We're getting a little bit of confusion going on in there, which is going to give us an opportunity, okay, to go into the stretch. So one hand in front, one hand behind. You're going to rock the pelvis back. You're going to rock the pelvis forward. Now again, you may be saying, my pelvis is rocked back and I can't get it to rock forward. Come up on a yoga block or come to the edge of a chair and just get your pelvis moving. Because this forward straddle bend is not about how far you can get your chest down, but can you get your hips to rotate? Because your hips have got incredible potential for flexibility, right? You've seen the gymnast, right? So come forward, start to walk forward, and go to where you find the sensation of the stretch. Everybody's going to be different. Once you find that spot where you feel like, okay, I have a sensation of stretch, it's not too deep, I like it, then start to just sway. So you're just going to sway. So there's a little bit of magic that starts to happen here. And the magic is all physiology, is we're overriding nervous systems, nervous responses, right? And we're trying to figure out how to get around tension and the receptors that are saying stop, 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 stop. And we're going, no, we're okay, we're okay. Inhale here, exhale, go further. So wherever you are is where we're going to hold it for for 5 deep breaths. So inhale, exhale, inhale again, exhale. So remember that exhalation is your opportunity to release tension. We have 2 more breaths here. Inhale, exhale. One more. And then slowly begin to walk yourself in. One hand under one knee, lifting it up. The other hand under the other knee, lifting it up. And let's come to a lying down position. And this is where you can use your belt if you have a belt. Place it around your right foot and extend the right leg up. As you extend the right leg up, lengthen the left leg out. Just come into that straight leg stretch. So, once you find the place where you feel like, okay, that's a stretch for me, I'd like you to take the right hand, put your thumb into your hip, press the hip down as you pull the leg forward. So we're trying to anchor the right hip down, and the low back should have a natural curve. So if you feel like your low back is really pushing down, you want to lift that low back slightly off the floor, finding your natural lumbar curve. Press down into the hip and then draw the leg forward. In that way, we're coming out of the low back. So we're not taking the stretch into the low back, but we're lengthening through the entire back of the leg from hip to heel. And then bend this knee. Take your hand to your kneecap. And then just draw a circle around with this hip. So just stirring the hip joint, and then reverse the direction. And then place that foot on the floor as you bring the opposite leg up and extend upwards and lengthen. Again, you want to anchor the hip down. Find that neutral curve of your low back. For me, my fingers just touch underneath the low back, and then we start to work the leg into that stretch. And breathe. Now we want to find a lengthening from the sitting bone to the heel, and you may feel the expression of the stretch anywhere along that line. Wherever it is for you, remember that exhalation brings you deeper into the stretch. And then soften the stretch, bend the knee. Come on out, take your hand to your kneecap, and then take a circle with the hip. So stirring the hip joint. And then reversing the direction. And then placing your feet on the floor. Bring the bottoms of your feet together, let the knees open out to the sides. We come into a butterfly pose for the legs. Maybe gently press down into the inner thighs, the bottoms of the feet together. And then keeping the legs there, inhale, reach overhead. And as you exhale, just let your eyes close and the weight of your body sink into the floor. Now you may feel that there's an imbalance between the two sides of your hips. And just with conscious awareness, can you begin to relax one side more than the other, or even them out so that one side isn't contracting as hard? Now you can stay here if you want to rest more deeply, or draw the legs in together. Roll forward to the side of your body, and then coming upwards. Going to a cross-legged position, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, open up. I can't believe how quickly a half an hour goes. Inhale, raise up. Exhale, open. And I'd like to thank you very much for joining me this evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, or for my international friends, a wonderful rest of your day. So that was a fusion stretch. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing fusion hit. So we're going to go to the opposite side of stretching, and we're going to take that heart rate up, and we're going to push our body strong again tomorrow. That's why today we really wanted to restore it. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day.